get going. So just before we start, I do just need to give a disclaimer here, which is everything that you're doing is at your own risk. And clearly, as always in a class, please do listen to your own body, tune into how you're feeling today. If something doesn't feel right, then ease back. And also, you don't have to do everything, so do miss something out if it's something stronger than your body needs today. Let's begin. So if you want to bring yourself to standing, so just come into standing on your mat, and with your feet hip distance apart, your hands relaxing by your side, shoulders are relaxing, and just taking a couple of breaths there. So feeling the mat under your feet, feeling the texture of the mat under the soles of your feet, and taking a couple of breaths there. Feeling that gentle lift and rise in your body on the inhale, feeling it subside on the exhale. Maybe closing your eyes. So really bringing your attention and awareness inwards. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And with your hands relaxed by your side, taking a twist left and right. Your hands are just relaxing, so they lift naturally with the movement of your body. As always through this class, just being careful of what is around you. So if there's enough space around you, maybe speeding that up. And maybe also taking a look over your shoulder as you come around the back. Then gradually slowing that down. Your hands will lower as you slow, and coming back to standing with your feet hip distance apart. Again, relaxing your shoulders. So from here, hands relaxing by your side, and then when you're ready, picking up your right foot. So your right knee comes in towards your chest, and then lowering that down. Bringing in your left knee up towards your chest, lowering down. And then keep that going, alternating the knee that you're lifting. Feeling that movement in your hip as you stretch and open your hip. And if you wanted, you could start to use your hands to bring that knee in a little closer if your balance allows. And you could also maybe take your arms wide as you lower your leg, bringing them in as you lift your knee. Taking one more of those to each side. And then lowering your legs and lowering your hands. From there, preparing for sun salutation. So coming to the end of your mat, hands relaxed by your side. Lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling as your feet press down into the mat. Relaxing your shoulder blades and just tilting your top of your chest up towards the ceiling. We're going to take 2 breaths before we begin. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, bringing your palms together at the center of your chest. Let your shoulder blades relax, lifting your elbows a little to help your palms press together. Stretch and reach your hands up, looking between your hands, and then lifting your arms a little higher as you take your arms back. From your hips, stretch all the way forwards and all the way down, bringing your hands in contact with the ground, bending your knees as much as you need to allow your fingertips to touch the mat. Neck muscles relax so your head hangs heavy. Take your right foot all the way back, lowering your knee and placing the top of your foot on the ground, letting your hips relax there as you lift your legs. Tuck your right toes under and send your left foot back, coming into our first plank. Look between your hands in plank, finding that straight line from the back of your neck all the way to your heels, shoulder blades relaxing down your back. Lowering your knees, followed by your chest, making contact with chin or your forehead onto the ground. And press forward as you lift your chest, lift your head, shoulder blades ease down your back, elbows are in close. Then tucking your toes and lifting your hips. You can take them back to your heels first if you like, and then straighten your legs or lift them up directly. So down face dog, our upside down V. Your hips are lifting on high. Your hands press firmly down into the mat. Your heels press firmly down into the mat. Looking between your hands, you can bring your right foot through. You could lower your knees and bring it through, or bring it through in one move. Once you're there, your gaze lifts, your chest lifts, your hips relax. Bringing your left foot through, relaxing into your forward fold again, letting your neck muscles relax. Your head can hang heavy to the ground. Reach and stretch all the way up. Looking between your hands, lifting your arms up and back. And hands come down. Inhale. Exhale, palms come together. Stretching and reaching your arms up, looking between your hands. Then from your hips, stretching and reaching forward and down, fingertips in line with your toes on the mat. Left leg all the way back this time, lowering your knee, lifting your gaze. Tucking your left toes under, sending your right foot back into plank, heels pressing away behind you, helping you to straighten. Then lowering your knees, followed by your chest, making contact with chin or forehead. Press forward, lifting your face and lifting your chest, shoulder blades, relax and ease down your back in your cobra. Then tucking your toes, lifting your hips. Hips lift on high, hands press firmly into the ground, squeezing all the air out from underneath your palms. Taking your weight back towards your legs, so you feel your chest heading towards your knees. And looking between your hands, bringing your left foot through, taking your right knee down. Lift your gaze. Bringing your right foot through, relax into your forward fold. And reach and stretch all the way up, looking between your hands, tilting the top of your chest to the ceiling. Then hands come down. Inhale. Exhale. So we're going to take 2 more rounds. We're going to flow these rounds with our breath. So I will offer you a breath to go with each move. If you're able to align with the breath, then please do. Hands relaxed, crown of your head lifts. We begin with our rest breath, no movement. Inhale. Exhale, palms press firmly together. Inhale, stretch and reach up, looking between your hands. Exhale, stretch and reach forward and down, fingertips coming in line with your toes. Inhale, right leg back, knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, send your left foot back, coming into plank for a moment, shoulder blades relax down your back. Exhale as you lower, knees then chest. Inhale, lifting your face, lifting your chest. Exhale, toes tuck. Hips lift on high to the ceiling, hands press down, heels press down. Inhale, right foot through, left knee down. Letting your gaze lift there. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold, head hangs heavy. Inhale, stretch and reach up, looking between your hands. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up. Exhale, stretch and reach forward and down. Inhale, left leg all the way back. Lower your knee, let your gaze lift. Hold your breath, right foot back. Looking between your hands. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, hands forward, heels firmly down. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down. Let your hips relax. Exhale, right foot through, relaxing for a moment in that forward fold. Stretch and reach all the way up and back. Exhale, hands down. Let's take an extra breath in for our final round. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressing together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, right leg back, knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, left foot back. Looking between your hands in your plank. Exhale as you lower. Knees, then chest. Inhale, pressing forward, lifting face, lifting chest. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lifting on high as your hands press down. Inhale, right foot through, left knee down. Let your gaze lift. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretch and reach up. Exhale, hands down. Final side, inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, stretch and reach up. Exhale, forward, all the way down. Fingertips coming into line with your toes. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, right foot back. Exhaling, lower, knees, chest. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, taking your weight back towards your legs. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretch and reach up and back. Exhale, hands down. Taking your feet apart, turning your palms to face forward. We'll take 2 cooling breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Then come to lying down on your mat, finding a good Shavasana pose. So feet out to the corners, hands away from your body, palms turned up, allowing every part of you to rest and relax. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your feet, relaxing your hips. Keeping your awareness and attention within your body. Maybe being aware of your breath. Then from here, we're going to take some leg lifts. So bringing your feet together and bringing your palms by your side so that your palms are turned down, shoulders are relaxing, flexing your feet so that your toes are drawing up towards your knees and your knees are pressing down towards the ground. As you next inhale, lift your right leg up towards the ceiling, taking it up and as far back as it will comfortably and easily go. As you next exhale, lowering your right leg. Next inhale, left leg lifts up, taking as high as your muscles allow. As you exhale, lower. Take 2 more to each side. Inhaling, lift your right leg, keeping your toes drawing towards you, your knee pressing away. Exhale, lower. Inhaling, lift left. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift your right leg, but hold your right leg up there. First of all, with your hands by your side, just seeing how far back you can take your toes towards the wall that's behind you. Then lift your head, interlace your hands behind your thigh, taking your head back down, bringing your leg with you. If you need to have a bend in your knee to let you take your head down, then please do. And then now use your leg muscles and your arm muscles to ease that straight leg back towards the wall. Any discomfort in your lower back, then keep a bend in that knee. It's fine to stay here. If you want more, as you next inhale, lift your head, climb your hands up your leg, reaching as high towards your ankle as you can. You might be nearer your knees, and then ease that leg back. So your knee is coming towards your chest, lifting your chest a little higher towards your knees. Inhaling, lift your chest a little more. Exhaling, see if your knee can be persuaded any closer to your chest. Take one more breath. And then as you next inhale, take your head back down. Release your leg, lowering your right leg. Reset your hands by your side. Re-straighten your legs, so flex your feet. Press your knees down. As you inhale, lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. First of all, seeing how far back you can take that straight leg with your hands by your side. Being aware of your toes moving against your ceiling. Then lifting your head, interlace your hands behind your thigh, take your head back down, bring your leg with you. Now see how far your toes can move with arms and leg muscles taking that leg back. It's fine to stay here. If you want more, on your next inhale, lifting your head, climbing your hands up your leg, holding as close to your ankle as you can easily reach, and then easing your knee to your chest, lifting your chest up towards your knee. Maybe using your breath so that the inhale is your chance to lift your chest higher, your exhale is your chance to bring your knee closer. Taking one more good breath. And as you inhale, release your leg, take your head back down, lowering your leg down. Let your feet relax apart, turn your palms face up by your side, and take a few breaths there. Maybe tuning into how the back of your legs are feeling, having stretched your hamstrings. Then we're going to work our core with some double leg raises today. So setting up for double leg raises, just as we had for single leg raises, bringing your feet together, bringing your hands by your side, your palms turned down, letting your shoulders relax. So with leg raises, you can tune them to the strength that your core wants tonight. If your hands are where they are now, that's the medium setting. If you want to lighten the load for yourself, you can take your hands underneath your buttocks. If your buttocks are a bit lifted, then that lightens the load. And if your core's feeling strong tonight, you can take your hands behind your head, interlacing your fingers behind your head. So have your hands wherever you want them to be, knowing you can change them at any time. Flex your feet so your toes head towards your knees. Draw your navel down towards your spine. That's the most important thing so that your core is engaged. Feeling your lower back maybe come a little closer to the ground as your core, as your navel draws in. Then as you next inhale, lift both legs up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, let your legs lower steadily down, keeping your navel drawing in towards your spine. Just being really aware of where the work was. Is it your lower back trying to do all of the work there? Is there any discomfort in your lower back? In which case, you might want to take this with knees bent. And then keeping that going with your breath. Next inhale, lifting your legs. And then as you exhale, lowering, taking that now with your own breath. Knowing that you can adjust your hands to change the load, knowing that you could bend your knees a lot to lighten the load, or keep your legs straight to have it at the strongest setting. Keeping your navel drawing down towards your spine. The next time you find your legs are in the air, we're going to take 3 more, and I'm going to offer you a countdown. So we'll come down a little more slowly, but feel free to go faster than my countdown if that's what your core needs tonight. Navel drawing down towards your spine, coming down to a count of 6. Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1, and touching down. Taking a breath. Navel to spine. As we next inhale, lifting your legs. Coming down to a count of 7. Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4. Keep navel joint to your spine. Om 3, Om 2, Om 1, and touching down. Take a breath. The final one, as you next inhale, lifting both legs, navel joint towards your spine, coming down to a count of 8. Om 8, Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. And touching down, let your feet relax apart, turn your palms to face up. Direct the expansion of your next few inhales down into your abdomen, so that as you breathe in, your abdomen lifts. As you exhale, your abdomen gently falls. That'll give you a little bit of release and relief in your core muscles where they've just done all of that work. Bringing your feet together, taking your arms up overhead, pressing your hands away from you. You could interlace your fingers, pointing your palms away if that's comfortable for your shoulders. Toes press forward, hands stretch back, stretching out good and long. Maybe stretching out a little bit longer. Then release, bringing your hands by your side and coming up to sitting. Coming up to sitting. So ready for our shoulder stand. So I'll just show getting in and out of shoulder stands. I can see shirts being tucked in already, very nice. So you might want to tuck the front of your shirt in. And then I'll just show coming in and out. So to come into the shoulder stand, hands by your side, elbows are in close. That's really key. When you're ready, you can lift your legs, lift your hips, and then bring your hands onto your lower back so that you are then in a shoulder stand. You might want to take that with bent knees. That can help you get some momentum. If you have high blood pressure, then you don't want to come all the way into shoulder stand, but you could come to having your legs elevated in the air, shoulders relaxing, and that's good for high blood pressure and nice relaxing posture. I think that's all I need to, I think that's all I need to say. So, when you're ready, coming to stretch out, bringing your feet together, hands by your side, elbows in close. Oh, sorry. Do you mind just sitting up? I do just need to show you getting safely out. That was the bit. I knew there was something I needed to say. So getting safely out, once you're in your shoulder stand, we'll do some things to balance the shoulder stand. But the most important thing is coming down with control. So to do that, you'll just take your legs a little bit behind, so you can then take the weight off your hands, bringing one hand, then the other down to the ground, and slowly draping yourself back down and stretching your legs out, turning your palms up. So stretching out, elbows in close, hands by your body, your palms are turned down, and then when you're ready, lifting your legs, lifting your hips, and taking your hands onto your lower back so that they're around your lower back, around your buttocks, holding you into your shoulder stand. And then once you're lifted, relax. Just give your body some time to acclimatize to the whole upside downness of it all. When you're in your shoulder stand, you may be tempted to look at the screen, but keep your gaze looking up towards your knees so your neck stays straight. And then you could maybe just balance your shoulder stand out. So things that you can adjust, you could choose to bring your legs lower so your knees come closer to your face. And as you do that, you could feed your back up through your hands a little. Or you might find it's more comfortable to lift your knees away from your face and bring your buttocks more into your hands, so you feed your back down through your hands. It's just trying to find what gives you the most balanced shoulder stand. And then maybe also balancing where the weight's going, how much weight you're sending down your hands into your elbows versus how much is going straight from down your lower back, down your upper back into your shoulders. And then just taking 2 or 3 more breaths there, relaxing your shoulders, letting the exhale relax your whole body. And then preparing to come out, just maybe taking your legs to the wall that's above your head. So you can take one hand down to the ground, one palm, followed by the other. And then with control, drape your spine back down onto the ground. Stretching your legs out, letting your feet relax apart, turning your palms to face up, and taking a few breaths there. Head, heart, legs are all back in one straight line. From there, we're going to take Setu Bandha, bridge pose. Setting up for bridge pose, bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. And then having a reach down with your hands, just to see if you can graze the middle of your heel with your middle finger. That just shows your feet are roughly in the right place so that your shins are near to vertical. Feet are hip distance apart. Turning your toes in very slightly to make yourself a bit pigeon-toed. Then tilting your tailbone up to the ceiling so you feel your lower back press into the ground, and then lifting your hips away from the ground, your lower back will lift away, pressing into your feet to help you to lift up towards the ceiling. Bringing your hips as high as they will comfortably and easily go. And then starting to press into your upper arms against the ground. That will help you to peel more of your upper back away from the ground. If it feels like the right thing to do and comfortable for you, you could then interlace your hands underneath you. Maybe taking a roll outside of the outside, roll outwards of your upper arms so that they tuck underneath you. And if your hands are interlaced, pressing your hands down towards your feet and in towards the mat. And then wherever your hands are for the next 2 or 3 breaths, just focus on pressing into feet, pressing into upper arms, seeing if you can lift away a little more from the mat. Taking one more breath there. Moving your hands out to the side if they're underneath you, and then very slowly draping your spine back down, sending your hips towards your heels so that you drape your spine starting at the top. Your hips will be the last thing to land. Once they land, bring your knees up onto your chest, take your arms around your knees or around the back of your knees, and take a rock side to side. Bringing that rocking to a halt in the center, easing your head up towards your knees and drawing your knees down towards your chest. Releasing, landing your feet down, landing your head down, and then from there, bringing yourself up to sitting. So just sitting however is comfortable. That might be cross-legged, but it doesn't have to be. And then we'll release our necks after shoulder stand and bridge pose. So turning your head to the right, just taking it as far to the right as it's comfortable to go. And then back to the center. Over to the left. And center to the right. Center. And finally the left. Back to the center. We're going to take, next, we're going to take Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose. So come to sitting with your legs stretched out in front of you. If you find sitting upright like this, if you find it's quite hard to get that right angle because you're finding yourself tending to be sitting back or it's not comfortable, then you might want to sit on a block. Or if you don't happen to have yoga blocks in your house, you could sit on a cushion or anything that just elevates your hips a little. From there, finding your right foot and bringing your right foot in nice and close. I'm going to come on sideways actually for this. So bringing your foot in as close as you can so that you've got the sole of your right foot against your left thigh. Take your hands by your side so you can press into your hands. That just lets you lift up. So you're lifting your chest, coming up good and straight. Maybe also just walking your hands in a little. So you're starting the forward movement from your hips. Keeping your left toes pressing up to the ground, pressing your right knee down towards the ground. Left toe pointing up to the ceiling. Let's have the ceiling. Then as you next inhale, stretching your hands up towards the ceiling. Lifting your hands, growing as tall as you can, turning slightly to the left so you're pointing to your left foot. As you next exhale, start hinging slowly forward from your hips, keeping your hands lifted for as long as you can, hinging forward towards your toes. When you've gone as far as you can, bring your hands down to land wherever they come to for you. So that might be your knees, your shin, your ankle, or near your toes. Then using your breath so that every inhale, you ease your whole upper body forward to your toes, and every exhale, you let your upper body relax over your left leg. So inhale, you're easing forward, exhaling, you're relaxing down. It's head to knee pose. If you're getting close towards your knee, think about it more as taking your chest towards your knee rather than your head, so that your head can stay lifted, so your neck stays straight. But if you're getting close and want to test to see if you've made it, you can maybe dip your head down and just see if you can make that contact. Taking 2 more good breaths there, easing forward, relaxing down. Then, stretching your hands forward and looking up towards your toes. Have an exhale, pressing forward, and a big inhale, lifting yourself back up. Exhale, lowering your hands. And then taking your left hand on your left knee and your right hand behind you. Pressing your right knee down in towards the ground. Then as you next inhale, start to lift your hips, so your weight's coming onto that right leg against the ground, taking your left arm around behind you, and then lifting your hips to the ceiling and pressing them forward towards the wall that's now in front of you. Maybe having your left sole of your left foot onto the ground, pressing your left foot into the ground and pressing your left hand away behind you. Pressing your right hand into the ground, lifting your hips and pressing them forward. As you next exhale, slowly lowering your hips, bringing your hand back around, placing your hand onto your knee, straightening your right leg out and taking a shake of your leg. Then bringing your left foot in, left foot nice and close against your right thigh. Hands behind you, pressing into your fingertips, lifting and straightening your chest, pressing your left knee down, pointing your right toes up towards the ceiling. Maybe just walking yourself forward a little bit. So you're starting your journey forward. On your next inhale, lifting both hands, stretching up towards the ceiling so you grow as tall as you can. Turning to face your right foot as you next exhale, hinging forward from your hips. Nice and slowly, there's no rush. When you can't hinge anymore, let your hands drift down to wherever they come to. Taking a gentle hold of wherever you reach, and then using your breath. Inhale, easing your upper body forward. So you're easing your head forward, your chest forward, your abdomen forward. Exhaling, relaxing your upper body as much as you can. The more you relax on that exhale, the more you'll be able to come forward on the inhale. Maybe just walking your right buttock back a little bit, that might give you a bit more space. Take 1 more breath here. And lifting your gaze to look at your toes, stretching your hands forward. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lowering your hands. Taking your right hand behind you and your No, left hand behind you, left hand behind you, right hand onto your left knee. So I'm hoping, Angelique, it might be a bit clearer if I'm this way, because it's quite a hard one to see. So with that left hand pressing into the ground, your left leg pressing down so that your lower leg is in good contact with the ground, and then on an inhale, starting to lift your hips away from the ground up towards the ceiling, taking your arm behind you, and then lifting your hips to the ceiling and pressing them to the wall that's now in front of you. Maybe pressing your right foot down into the ground and your right hand away from you. So you're stretching all the way down the right side of your body, pressing your left hand into the ground as you lift your hips towards the ceiling. Take one more breath. Then as you next exhale, slowly lowering your hips, bringing your hand back around to land your right hand back onto your knee, stretching your legs out, having a shake of your legs. Then from there, let's come onto our fronts, ready to do a little bit of work for our backs. So come to lying on your front, bringing your hands underneath your forehead and taking a moment's rest there, resting your hand onto, no, your forehead onto your hands. I'm just going to adjust my camera here. So we'll start with a couple of cobras. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders so that the tips of your fingers are lining up with the top of your shoulders. Bringing your elbows in nice and close, and then resting your forehead onto the ground. With your forehead relaxing and resting on the ground, just take a movement with your shoulders, which is to take them up to the ceiling and then down towards your feet. So it's an up and back movement of your shoulders. Then as you next inhale, lift your face so that you're looking forward. Then as you next inhale, peel your chest away from the ground. Letting your shoulder blades relax down your back, bringing your elbows in close. Maybe starting to send your elbows to the wall behind you, easing your chest forward a little, keeping your breath good and smooth. One more breath. As you exhale, slowly lowering back down, resting your forehead onto the ground or your chin. We'll take one more cobra. With your head resting on the ground, take that up and back movement of your shoulders. That just gets everything ready for the lift. On your next inhale, lift your face, looking directly forwards. As you next inhale, lift your chest. Your hands are just balancing you rather than lifting you. Elbows in close, shoulder blades ease down your back, elbows to the back of the room, chest towards the front. So you'll feel your hands pulling against the mat. They won't move against it, but you'll feel a pressure towards you. One more breath. See if you can lift a little more as you take it. As you exhale, slowly lowering back down. Bringing your hands underneath your forehead and resting your forehead or your cheek onto your hands. So having warmed our backs up with some cobra, we're going to take some more work for our back. So stretching your hands out in front of you and resting your chin or forehead onto the ground. Really stretching your toes back and your hands forward so you're making yourself as long as you can. Then as you inhale, lift your face to look forward. As you next inhale, lift your right arm away from the mat. As you next inhale, lift your left leg away from the mat. As that leg lifts, feel the hip crease at the top of your leg. Press that hip crease into the ground. As you then see if you can just lift your right arm a little more, easing your armpit away from the ground, seeing if you can peel more of your left thigh away from the ground, pressing into your right leg and left hand to help you to lift. Then as you next exhale, lowering your left leg, your right arm, and bringing your forehead onto the ground. Stretching your hands forward, your toes back. As you next inhale, lifting your face to look directly forwards. As you next inhale, lifting your right arm, left arm. Thank you, Len. Left arm. As you next inhale, lifting your right leg. Again, pressing that right hip crease into the ground at the top of your legs, seeing if you can lift your left armpit higher, seeing if you can peel more of your right thigh away from the ground, pressing your right hand, left leg into the ground. Stretching toes and hands forward. One more breath, one more lift. As you exhale, lowering your leg, then your arm, then bringing your forehead to the ground. Bringing your hands underneath your forehead, taking a few breaths there. So we're going to take this stronger in 2 steps. You need to make sure that you're doing this in line with how your back's feeling today. So you could take Cobra again, or you could take one leg, one arm lifting. There'll be a chance to balance up and do both sides. If you want to take the strongest option, you could stretch your hands out and we'll lift both arms and both legs. If you want to do both arms and both legs but want to lighten it a little, you could have your hands by your side. That just takes a little bit of the strength out. I'm going to give instructions with arms straight forward, legs straight back, forehead resting on the ground. As you next inhale, lifting your face to look directly forwards. As you next inhale, lifting your arms away from the ground. As you next inhale, lifting your legs, pressing those hip creases into the ground, pressing your hands forward, pressing your toes back. Seeing if you can peel your thighs away from the ground, seeing if you can lift your armpits a little higher, keeping your breath good and steady and smooth. Taking one more breath, lifting a little if you can. As you exhale, lowering legs, lowering arms, lowering forehead, bringing your hands underneath your forehead, resting forehead or cheek onto your hands. So, final step here is to take Dhanurasana, bow pose. So that's where we'll take a hold of our ankles. That gives more of a back bend, but it's a little bit easier to lift than having your arms stretched out in front. But lots of options. If you wanted, you could take a Cobra. You could take what we've just done with arms in front or by your side, or you can come with me to Dhanurasana, knowing that if your back has done enough, you could be resting this one out. You're going to take bow pose, bend your knees, and then take your hands and reach around and see if you can make a connection with your ankles. So taking hold of your foot, taking hold of your ankles. If you're not able to reach your ankles or feet today, that's fine. You could have your hands lifting, but not necessarily connecting with your ankles. Then if you can, just make contact with your chin or forehead onto the ground, taking a quick relax before we lift. Then as you next inhale, lift your face to look forwards. As you next inhale, lift your chest, lifting your shoulders. And then as you next inhale, seeing if you can lift your knees away from the ground. They may not lift, but send the message. Eventually, if you keep making that connection, they will get the message. Pressing your ankles into your hands, that might let you lift your knees a little higher. Seeing if your shoulders can lift a little more from the ground. Keeping your breath good and smooth. Taking 2 more breaths there if you've got them. Pressing ankles into hands. And as you next exhale, releasing your ankles, lowering your knees, bringing your hands underneath your forehead, resting your forehead or a cheek onto your hands. Being aware of your heart rate, being aware of your breathing. They're both elevated, having just used so many muscles to get that back bend. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing yourself up to hands and knees, and then coming to wrists under shoulders, your knees under your hips, ready for some cat-cow to ease out your back. So starting by tilting your tailbone up to the ceiling, letting your back of your waist dip down towards the mat, lifting your head to look up towards the ceiling. So that's cow. Then as you next exhale, tuck your tailbone under, arch your back up to the ceiling, let your head tuck under, so you're looking towards your knees. Then keeping that going with your own breath. Inhaling, lifting your tailbone, back dips down, lifting your head to cow. Exhaling, starting again with the tailbone, tucking it under, back arches up, head tucks under. Keeping that movement nice and smooth with your breath. Feeling the ripple from tailbone to head each time you make a move. Next time you find yourself in cat with your back arching up to the ceiling, just hold there for a moment. Head's tucked under, tailbone's tucked under. Press into your hands, your knees and your feet. See if you can arch up just a little higher. Then release. Sit back to your heels, so you're bringing your hips as close to your heels as you can. Stretching your hands forward and bringing your forehead down to the mat. If your forehead doesn't easily touch the mat, you could either place a cushion or a block underneath your head or make fists with your hands so you can rest your hands on your fists. Then relaxing, maybe adjusting your child's pose if you prefer. Maybe you could have your knees open, or you could have your hands down by your feet or on top of your lower back. Whatever makes you your most comfortable. Using your exhales, feeling your shoulders relax down to the ground with every breath out. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and then press into your hands to sit upright and come to sitting cross-legged, ready for a twist. Again, you might want to sit on a block or a cushion just to elevate you. And then come to sitting cross-legged. And if cross-legged isn't your most comfortable, then you could keep your legs straight or have your knees bent. We're going to take a twist like this, as long as you can use your knee to ease round, which you can still do when your legs straight or bent, that's perfect. So sitting up nice and straight, if you've got your legs crossed, pulling gently on your knees, so hand on each knee, pulling gently on your knees so you can lift your chest up and bring it forward a little. Taking your right hand behind you, pressing your fingertips into the ground so you're still lifting and straightening. Then taking your left hand onto your right knee. As you next exhale, start taking your chest slowly around to the right. There's no rush, so let the twist in your spine develop slowly. When you've gone as far as you easily can, you could then maybe take your gaze over your right shoulder and then maybe start to ease your right shoulder back to help your chest come round a little bit further. Making sure that your head is level, so your chin is level, you're neither looking up nor down. Using your next few breaths as you inhale, press into your backhand, re-straightening. As you exhale, seeing if you can ease a little further round. Take one more breath. As you exhale, relax yourself back around to the front. Hand on each knee. Drawing your knees towards you, lifting your chest up and forward towards your knees. Take the left hand behind you, pressing your fingertips into the ground, and then your right hand onto your left knee. Facing the front first, lifting up straight, then as you next exhale, taking your chest around to the left. Nice and slowly round. When you've gone as far as you easily can, taking your gaze over your left shoulder, easing your left shoulder back to help your chest come round a little more. Using your breath, inhale, press into your left hand straight, and exhale, easing round. Take one more breath. As you exhale next, release, relax, and bring yourself back around. Stretching out your legs, maybe having a shake. And from there, bringing yourself up to standing. Oops. chest. Nice to see you again, Martin. So coming to wide leg, don't go out to your absolute maximum. We're going to take Trikonasana. So you don't want to be out to your absolute maximum, but you want to have your legs reasonably wide. Bringing your hands then onto your hips. Turning your left foot in and your right foot out. So your right toes are pointing away from you. Then bringing your hips back around. So as much as possible, you're facing forward, whatever forward is for you. Lifting your left arm up towards the ceiling. Lifting your left hand higher as you press your left foot firmly into the ground. So you feel a stretch down the left side of your body. Taking your right hand onto your right thigh. And keep that upward stretch of your left hand as you exhale and slowly start hinging over to the right. As you do that, your left shoulder will naturally want to come forward, but keep your left shoulder easing back. Once you've come as far as you can, then start to press your fingertips away, your left fingertips away, and that might help you to ease down a little more. Then using your next few breaths, inhale, press your fingertips away from you, exhale, relax more to the left. And as you next inhale, bringing yourself back upright, exhale, lowering your left hand. Hands come onto your hips, feet face forward, and then we'll take a couple of breaths there. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Turning your right foot in and your left foot out. Guiding your hips back around so that they're facing the long edge of your mat. Lifting your right arm up towards the ceiling. Stretching tall, stretching your fingertips upwards. Pressing your right foot into the ground. Really getting that sense of stretch from foot to toe, foot to fingers. Taking your left hand onto your thigh. Keep stretching your right hand up as you exhale, tilting left. Easing your right shoulder back rather than letting it come forward. Being aware of that bend you've now got in your spine and starting to press your fingertips to the wall that's on your left. Then using your breath as you inhale, pressing your fingertips left, as you exhale, relaxing more down to the left. As you next inhale, slowly lifting back up. Exhale, lowering your hands. Hands come onto your hips, feet face forward, and then heel toe your feet back together. Take a shake of your legs. And then we'll finish with a forward fold. So feet hip distance apart, hands relaxed by your side, shoulders relax. Bringing your hands onto your hips, lifting with your chest, and then as you next exhale, lead forward with your chest, hinging at your hips until you've got no more hinge left, and at that point you can let your upper body relax over your legs. You can release your hands. Any discomfort in your lower back, or just because it's nice and comfortable, put a bend in your knees. Maybe taking the opposite elbow with the opposite hand, letting every part of you relax down. Using your breath, using your exhale, so that every time you breathe out, you just relax yourself down a little more towards the ground. And release your hands down towards the ground. If they're not bent already, put a good bend into your knees. Tuck your tailbone under, and that can start you slowly lifting yourself back up, uncurling back to standing. There's no rush. Once you're standing, rolling your shoulders back. And with that, it's time for final relaxation. So coming to lying down on your mat, do put on any warm things. Do take anything that will allow you to be comfortable. So you may well want to have a cushion to place behind your head. Feet out towards the corners of your mat, hands away from your body, palms turned up. So a good Shavasana pose. When you're ready, there's no rush. Just taking a few breaths to settle. Not trying to do anything, just being for a moment as you relax your body, as you allow your mind to relax. Taking your attention to the back of your body, feeling the back of your body against the ground. Feeling the stillness of the back of your body against the ground. Becoming aware of the front of your body. Feeling the rise and fall of your breath. Noticing how as you breathe in, there's a gentle lift in your body that occupies some of the space that's above you. And as you exhale, you release that space as you relax your body down to the ground. Focusing on the exhale. Allowing the exhale to relax you a little more. Knowing that I'm not going to desert you. I'll keep an eye on the time if you just let everything relax, knowing there's nothing you need to do. And slowly bringing your awareness back, keeping your body still for a few more moments. Being aware again of lying on your floor. And bring movement back, wriggling your fingers and wriggling your toes. Taking your arms up overhead, bringing your legs together. Just pressing your toes gently forward, pressing your fingertips gently back. So a final stretch of the whole body. Releasing that stretch. Bending your knees, bringing your knees one then the other onto your chest. Your arms can come back over to hug around the back of your knees or around the front of your knees. Taking a rock side to side. Bringing that rock to a halt, easing your head to your knees, drawing your knees down towards your chest. Then releasing, head back down, feet back down. And from there, maybe coming by the right-hand side for a breath or two, slowly bringing yourself back up to sitting. Well, it is wonderful to see you all. It's been so nice to teach yoga again. Thank you all for joining me. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Cheers, Phil.
Thank you. If you have any feedback at all about the class, anything at all, it would be really helpful. This is the first we've done, so do drop an email. It would be great to hear from you. If there's anything that you've noticed, anything you think that we could just make it better for you.